Lewis Wing. It's to shoot, and what a goal from Lewis Wing!
Hello and welcome to the very first Blue and White Insight podcast. My name is Ollie, aka The Loyal Royal, and I'm joined by Connor Burke, aka
The Cheltenham Royal.
The Cheltenham Royal. Today was supposed to be a Cambridge United review, which we see are still going to do. But in the light of recent events, we're also going to talk about Ruben Selles leaving Reading FC for Hull City. Connor, any quick thoughts on that?
Why?
I know, I'm baffled.
Obviously we're disappointed, but no disrespect to Hull and all, but he can do
Way better than Hull.
They're 22nd. They lost a lot of players in the summer. They're not as strong as they were, and he's got a good. Obviously, Hull have a much better squad than we do, and they're in a much better situation than we are. But he's got a foundation with us. I would have hoped that he'd at least see it to the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, he's got a lot better opportunities there, and he can go on to further his career. And it's a risk staying here, but he's got such a good foundation, such a good squad, a set of fans that love him, a set of players that love him, and it's just disappointing to see it end. And I think this, unfortunately, is the beginning of the end for the club. I can't see how we go forward here, because no man is going to come in and do near as good a job. Noel Hunt it will be, we assume.
Yeah, it would probably be Noel Hunt.
Well, James Oliver Pearce, I think it will be Noel Hunt. Last, in 2023, was it 5 games, 3 points, 3 goals scored. Obviously, we were one of the weaker teams in the league, but
Demoralised as well.
it was, interesting to see what he does, but it's not looking good. The protests are going to have to ramp up.
I'd agree with that. I think from Ruben Selles' standpoint, he did say last season that if the ownership situation doesn't change, he'd have to leave because it's not stable for him. I respect that from him. I think that in regards to his sort of well-being and what he's gone through the last year, no other football manager, would have stayed. I'm hats off to him for being so sticking by us, and even through all the hardship, he's staying here, which I think is brilliant. But I think recently with all the Rob Couhig court case and the 9.5 million in lost damages, which I don't even understand, something like that. Yeah, I don't really get it. I think he's just like, what, enough's enough. I've done my stint here. I've shown that I'm more than capable as a manager, and it's just horrendous to see, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just, this feels like one of the lowest points in supporting Reading FC, and I think the last time I felt this bad was when I thought the takeover of the training ground was going to happen from Wycombe Wanderers. That I felt horrendous that day, and I feel the same here. I think he was the glue holding this team together. The players absolutely loved him. The way he developed the youth from the academy side was brilliant. And it just seems like this is the beginning of the end, with January transfer window coming up as well, as Connor said.
Yes.
Players getting sold, and I bet you any money some players will go to flipping Hull City, because if I was Ruben, I'd go, you know what, I don't really want to knock them down while they're down, but Tyler Binden's a half-decent centre-back, you know what I mean?
Binden will go higher than that. It's this. Just stay away from Lewis Wing, Ben Elliott, Savage. Stay away from him. It's so demoralising just to think about, man. I don't really get it from his standpoint in regards to the management. Like, I get the well-being of it in the fact that you can't deal with the ownership stuff anymore, and how will it happen, won't it happen, it is the protest, this, that and the other. But then from like a management standpoint, you've got a squad there that loves you, a fan base that adores you, and to go to the least informed team in the Championship that are in the relegation zone. 0 points out of their last 5.
Yeah, not great at all, is it? I think. And then coming off the back of a really strong 4 games, not being beaten away from home, and then a 3-0 win against Cambridge, which we'll talk about later on. It just feels like we're on the up and up, and playoffs as well. Imagine that being on your CV. You get a team who is pretty much ownerless and can't afford a lot, to the playoffs or even get promoted on your CV. Like for Ruben, that's big, and for the whole team, that's big. But
no, he'll face relegation with Hull City.
No, he faced relegation with Hull City, I think.
Unless he can massively turn it around, but
I mean, even then, you look at the way that he joined Reading, and the fact that he wanted to come here and play his 4-2-2 style in the first 10 games, which worked horrendously, I thought. He'll do the same thing at Hull. You know, no disrespect to Ruben. He'll do the same thing at Hull. He'll get into Hull, and he'll go, you know what, guys, this is how we're going to play. We're going to do this 4-2-2. It will do horrendously. The whole fans will want him out, like we rightly did back at the start of last season. And then eventually he'll change a bit. The players will adapt to his play style, and I think they'll do really well with him, if I'm being honest. I think he's a great manager.
It'll take time, though. He's not like a Neil Warnock or
no,
he's not going to go in there and instantly turn around.
That's results. What I was about to say, yeah. I think
it takes time for Ruben to get to know the players, them to get to know his style. For him, a January big for him to get the players he wants. That's why I'm worried about taking any of our players. But he's not an instant go in and turn results around. So I obviously we love him. He's a great manager. So I would devastated that he's leaving, but I'm not overly convinced of he's the man that's going to change their season around in the short term. Come March, April. They'll probably see, maybe February, they'll see results start coming through.
100%.
Well, that'd be too late for them.
I know.
Because at the start of last season, we were bottom of the league on 7 points, like 10 adrift from safety.
Only from November did we really start picking up after that Wickham away. That was the game that kind of turned our season around.
It's obviously it's a very good appointment because they can see what the job he's doing here. I just don't. Why? Why?
Yeah, it's baffling to a lot of Reading fans, I think.
Take Mark Robbins.
Mark Robbins again.
He's free.
He's a free. You don't have to pay compensation, lads. You know, take him. And I think he'd actually do a better job than Ruben would do in the short term. I mean, not even that. I think Mark Robbins is probably a better manager than Ruben.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, I've been to a few COF games. I've been to the Wembley games with them. You know, I've seen what he does. He's a brilliant manager. I just think that maybe in regards to Mark Robbins, maybe he just wanted time a bit away from football. You know,
I'd was Ruben's first, apart from his very short stint at Southampton, which obviously
didn't go well.
Yeah. This is his first proper managerial stint. So he's not got championship experience, and championship's a whole different kettle of fish.
100%.
So I don't even know how well he'll do. I genuinely don't.
I think
couldn't call it.
What we can expect to see from Ruben Selles at Hull City will be an implementation of a play style in this first game. High press, high turnover of the ball, and trying to get at teams on the front foot. He's a very front-footed manager. He's not a defensive manager that you'd expect to see from a Sam Allardyce or something like that. He doesn't sit back. He's prone to go for a win whenever he can. You know, I never other than the games like I'd say maybe when we needed a draw, like to stay up last season, I haven't seen a game where Ruben Selles has gone, you know what, lads, let's sit back, let's play for a draw here. And maybe it doesn't work in our favour, you know. Away games to Bolton comes to mind. Away games to Stockport comes to mind. We've gone for that win. But when we do go for the wins against teams that we don't expect to, like last season against Bolton, we won 2-1 at home. I think that he is that manager that gets you those results that you wouldn't expect, but also you're going to lose a few games heavily. I think. Would you say that's a fair analysis, Connor?
We need to keep our home form
tip top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way Ruben plays, it just is very difficult to come to the SCL and stop us because we're so confident on our home soil with the style. It just doesn't work away from home. We try to play the exact same home and away, and teams just stop it away from home. I don't know. It just, for some reason, doesn't work. But at home, the way Ruben plays, it just... I went into every single home match thinking we'd win.
Yeah,
Same.
Same.
Even going at home to Burnley at the start of January, I'm genuinely confident that we could nick a result.
Think so?
Genuinely, yeah. I think at home we are that good, and we can take any one championship below on our day. I'm not saying we're definitely going to beat Burnley. It's just an optimistic hope.
With Ruben, I'd say, yeah. Yeah, obviously with Ruben.
Not with Noel Hunt as such. But,
we might draw to Burnley with Noel Hunt.
We did do that.
We did do that.
With a stronger squad.
Yeah, definitely. I think, looking at it from a Reading FC perspective, we've talked about what he can do at Hull. From a Reading FC perspective, where would we go from here? We just mentioned Noel Hunt. I think he will be the next manager to take over from Ruben. I mean, looking at the positives here, even though there isn't many, Noel Hunt pretty much knows half the squad. Raised him when he was in the academy, knows what they're like, this, that and the other. He's very fond of Kelvin Iheanacho. We always see him tweet out when he gets a goal or assist, something like that. He's committed to Reading FC.
He loves the club.
He does love it. He's not just some manager who is coming here for a bit of recognition or something.
He'll put his all in. The main thing is he knows the players.
Yeah.
It's not like a complete. What we don't want now is a fresh start, because we just need to just keep it rolling. We don't want any. I wouldn't want us to just go in and get a new manager. I'd probably prefer Noel Hunt, just because it just flows and he knows all the players.
100%.
And it's less of it. Obviously, this is a massive disruption. But I think Noel Hunt coming in is less of a disruption. Because the players know him.
Additionally, as well, I think Noel Hunt and James Oliver Pearce have probably been learning off Ruben a little bit about what his tactical style is like, especially James Oliver Pearce. I think that.
Let's hope he doesn't go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope so, because of how close that coaching staff, I'd assume, have been, because there haven't been many coaching staff coming in. We lost our goalkeeper coach to QPR quite early on. A lot of our coaches had to be paid off because we couldn't pay them in the long term. I think that is definitely going to be a positive for us moving forward, because, as I said, he knows the players, he knows the style, he understands what he can get from the players. I'm pretty sure that he's been on a few coaches away from home. I think that's about right. Yeah, he's been on a few of those coaches with the first team. I think the thing that takes a big hit on the negatives with Noel Hunt is probably the academy.
Yeah.
That is a big hit.
I'm telling you, I don't actually know who does that.
No, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either. We'll have to find that one out. But again, it's just it's baffling from a Reading fan, because everyone loves Ruben here. We adore him. I think he's actually been my favourite manager since I've been following the club, if I'm being honest. I'm not a very old head, if you will.
Might be Brian. But Brian McDermott not come back.
No,
is he retired?
I don't know. I haven't. That's.
I think he is.
That's maybe a bit out of my age range there. The Brian McDermott stuff.
Brian McDermott's my favourite manager we've had.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Fair enough, but
Ruben.
Gate.
It's for different reasons.
Yes, 100%, $1,000,000%.
A legend and a complete fan favourite, and always will be, just for sticking. Obviously, he's not stuck with us now, but you can't blame him. But for sticking with us as long as he did, and just keeping the club alive, really, because we could really be in a much. Obviously, we're in a dreadful situation, but in terms of league position, we could be in a much worse position than we are. So what he's done with no money and with half a school, not many senior players at all.
No,
is brilliant. And Brian McDermott for the promotion
stuff. Yeah. Oh god, it is complete. It sucks the soul out of you, doesn't it? Like as Reading fans, it's a fairly unique thing for, at least in recent times, for people to pinch a manager, let alone players. A manager is that's demoralising, isn't it?
It's not happened to us.
No, it's not happened.
Pardew.
It's not happened, is it?
No, it's not since Pardew.
Since Pardew, I think as well. With January coming up, as we talked about player sales, I mean, another thing that's unique to us, I think only in the past last season, have we really had a lot of players leave in January and not bring anything in because of the ownership situation. It all comes down to Die Man. I mean, you have any other owner in the situation right now, they don't allow Ruben Selles to talk to Hull City.
And the thing is, we don't even know what stage it's at, because we're not getting any communications.
No.
Like, we don't know where he is. We don't know where Pang is. We don't know anything.
We've been left in the dark completely.
Who's in exclusivity? Apparently someone was in exclusivity.
I don't think anyone is.
No, but the club said... The club put out a statement, was 2 months ago, saying, someone's in exclusivity. Since that point, we had nothing.
Yeah, I think...
Obviously, Roger Smee's bid was...
rejected.
Oh, no, but he's committed to selling the club.
I don't...
He rejects...
He rejects bids.
Did he reject it just because Roger Smee saved us last time?
You never know.
No.
I could go on and on and on about how much Dai Young has caused the downfall of this club. You know, from relegation to the Championship, points deductions. We'd be here well over the allocated time, I think, for this podcast. But look, moving on to Tuesday's game against Cambridge United. Something brighter, something to lift the mood, end on a high. We started off the game, I thought, poorly, I'd say. Cambridge United had a really good chance early on in the game. Their striker just sort of missed the ball completely. It was from a corner, gets headed around to the box a little bit, falls to the striker about 8 yards out and just completely skies it into row YY of the family stand, doesn't it? Just, I don't know how he's not finishing that. He should finish that. If he does finish that, the game completely changes, I think.
I had a different view of the game because I was watching it from TV screen.
Oh yeah, you weren't there, were you?
First game I've missed this season.
I know, top fan. Yeah, but would you agree, Connor? The game completely changes from there. You know, if he buries it. If he buries it.
Yeah. I still think we would have bounced back and won.
Okay.
I didn't see at any point in that game, but even if they scored, they'd have the quality to even prevent us from scoring, let alone score more. I don't rate Cambridge. I'm not going to lie. I don't rate Cambridge.
Yeah, they had some good form. They won like 4 on the bounce, and then
they lost 6-1.
Yeah,
to Peterborough.
But
They just lost 1-0 at home to Burton.
Did they?
Yeah, last night.
Oh my lord. Okay. Good win for Burton. Massive win for Burton. Great win for Burton. But
the first half, I thought both teams were poor. We created 3 good chances, I'd say. There's one from a short corner, Chem Campbell shrugging off a couple Cambridge players and then pulling it across, and Gerald Dorset, not Dorset as the Sky Sports commentators say, unless it is Dorset, but just add an extra vowels. Not vowels.
Syllables.
Yeah, and then Dorset hit the post. That was, I don't know how we did.
I was going to say that's a golden chance.
4 yards away. Free header.
I think
anyway, it's Gerald Dorset.
Gerald Dorset. He's not an out and out striker, is he? But
not
going back to that.
Best poacher.
No, he's not. Going back to that chance. Chem Campbell does do really, really well to turn his man on the right-hand side of the box. He sort of fakes that he's going to go outside of the box, maybe lay off a ball to somebody on the edge of the box, and then just sort of turns inside and runs towards the byline to whip a ball in. It's a great ball, and it's a golden chance, but he just misses it and hits the post.
I felt as though the Cambridge players were scared of Chem Campbell.
I know, I thought that as well. They were constantly...
No one was near him.
Constantly, they're always backing off Chem Campbell. He's a player on form.
Even for our second goal, he just so easily got past and then just laid it into Ben Elliott, who got the assist.
Yeah.
But if we lose, obviously Chem Campbell's loan ends, 5th, 26 days. 27 days, Jesus Christ. Get how many days there are in December. We need to extend that loan.
Yeah, 100%.
We need to extend that loan. Obviously, when he first joined, even when he scored 2 goals against Burton, we still didn't think anything of him. We just thought, he scored 2 goals, what else did he do?
Yeah, true. I think.
But recently, he's very strong on the ball.
Hot form, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very hot form.
Really impressed.
Good.
Surprisingly impressed.
I know. The last time I think we had a decent loan player. Ooh, now we're testing. I'd say. I mean, Jeff Hendrick weren't all that bad when we had him on loan. He weren't good. He scored a couple of screamers. Didn't really do much else. No, I can't really think. Paul McIroy last season, he weren't great, was he? he dribbled a bit too much. Didn't really have an end product. A bit raw. But Chem Campbell does seem like a complete winger, I'd say. Would you agree with that, Connor?
Yeah. I think the best loan I can remember us having is Matt Miazga's, that going back too far as the one before.
Matt Miazga, wow.
Matt Miazga's brilliant.
That volley against Peterborough, was it? Preston at home, that last minute volley was brilliant. But anyway, moving on going off topic again. You can tell we haven't been in the podcasting long, have we? Moving on to the second half, because there wasn't really much else to talk about in the first, was there?
The first half.
First half was dire.
I mean, Sam Smith obviously had
of course, yeah.
chance going through 1-on-1, which would have been Ben Elliott 4 assists.
4 assists for Ben Elliott, yeah.
Game. Well, I'm not sure the first one, really.
Hey, we'll talk about that later. But Sam Smith is put through 1-on-1 with the keeper. And in all fairness, the Cambridge United centre-back does get back really well. Michael Morrison, yeah, I know.
I think it was.
I didn't realise that he had that pace in him, but he gets back really, really well. And he puts Sam Smith off, so he has to shoot early. And it's pretty much...
He could have cut inside, possibly.
Yeah, I think...
But the thing is with Sam Smith, he doesn't have the pace, really.
No.
To pick up the ball... 40, 50 yards? No, it wasn't 40 yards.
He had a lot of pitch to run, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with a centre-back coming up behind him as well, he just doesn't... He's just a poacher.
He is. He's not just a poacher. He's great at link-up play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, Sam Smith is never going to score a goal from outside the box.
No.
I'm not saying... It's not impossible.
He won't.
But it's... not very likely.
No, not at all.
He just sits in the box,
waits for a ball.
Pounces.
Maybe win a couple aerial duels. But we are sounding like we're misdemeanoring him a little bit here. He is a great striker. We're not at all.
One of the best in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
Very important. It's always important to have a number 9. Obviously, he wears number 10, but it's.
I know. Yeah, that's weird.
It's Kelvin, isn't it?
Yeah.
A club has to have a number 9. If you don't have a number 9, you're not gonna. Scoring goals, and that's why we do score a lot of goals, and most of them are Sam Smith, because it's just he is so crucial to just get in on the end of anything in the box. He'll there and he'll try to put it in. Whereas going back,
Don Ballard. That's a recent one.
No, yeah, I played.
My
mind just goes blank.
I know, but he's not.
Lewis Graben.
There we go.
Useless.
Useless from Lewis Graben. But he should put this chance away. It's a very clear 1-on-1 with the keeper. I mean, he kind of puts it to the keeper's right, which is easier for him to save. For me and Con were talking about this when we were looking at the highlights. He should have gone near post. I thought the keeper looked way off balance towards his right. And I think because he leaned so far to his right, I think he had most of the goal covered. I think if he did go near post, he'd wrong foot him, if you know what I mean. Like, the keeper's always kind of waiting for Sam Smith to go to the right-hand side of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, moving on to the second half, which started off really well, didn't it, Connor?
4 minutes.
4 minutes in, we get a little defensive error as a Cambridge United defender just sort of passes it out into the no man's land, I'd say, near the edge of the box. Lewis Wing, Ben Elliott kind of gets an assist.
He got the last touch.
He got the last touch, yeah.
It wasn't intended to go to Wing, but you know what? We'll give it him.
We take those. He kind of gets a little touch, which guides it into the path of Lewis Wing, who beats the defender and then just rifles one into the bottom left hand corner, doesn't it? Keeper's right into that corner, and it's a really powerful and driven strike, I'd say. He just sort of guides it there. It's with his laces. It's a really clean strike, and I don't think the keeper's really getting anywhere near that.
He got a touch on it.
Did he?
Keeper got a touch on it.
You know what? Fair play.
He did.
Fair play, keeper.
He was actually. There's nothing he could have done about any of the goals, to be fair.
No, not at all.
Vicente Reyes, I want to say. I think his name was. It was. To be fair, I was actually very impressed. I think he was the only
Cambridge player
I was impressed.
because we peppered him with shots the first half, which he saved all of them. So you know what? Fair play to him. But it's a great goal. It's Lewis Wing outside the box. I mean, what more are you going to talk about? Lewis Wing doing what Lewis Wing does. I mean,
it was
standard.
It was poor from a Cambridge point of view to give him that space, not once but twice.
Which we'll talk about later.
You don't give Lewis Wing space
on the outside of the box or anywhere really.
Anywhere. Well, for Crawley's sake, 40 yards away.
For Crawley, yeah.
35.
Let's call it 40. Sounds better.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, Connor, but obviously you're watching it from the TV. I missed the goal. I don't miss many goals. I was doing interviews at half time at the Loyal Royal on YouTube. We were doing interviews at half time, and you know, I come out the concourse. I just hear blues, and then I'll have a look at the little TV behind me. If you've ever been to the Select Car Leasing Stadium, in the concourse there's these little like TVs which show the game as you're walking past. I go to the TV behind me and I just see the goal, and I'm like, get in. It was a good little goal. Lewis Wing doing what Lewis Wing does. And then we doubled our lead about 11 minutes later.
Yes.
Yeah. 11 minutes later, when we get a break from Chem Campbell, who lays it off to Ben Elliott. Ben Elliott has a lot to think about here. He either shoots, lays it off right, or lays it off left. And he makes the right choice on the left-hand side. Mamadi Kamara is in acres of space. Centre back slides in to try and block the shot from Mamadi Kamara. Mamadi Kamara reads this. Great touch as well. It cuts inside. Defender goes flying for a hot dog, does the shopping for him, and he rifles it into the roof of the net, which doubles our lead. I think it's a really well taken goal from Mamadi Kamara.
It was a very well composed finish. It wasn't something you'd expect from Mamadi Kamara.
No.
Obviously, during the game, on Twitter, or X, sorry, and at half time, you're just seeing a lot of, not stick towards Mamadi Kamara, but everyone's saying he's not up to it, he's not strong enough, he's just not ready for first team football yet.
No.
60th minute just pulls that out.
I know, I mean...
It was a very, very, very well taken finish. Not something I actually would have expected from him. I thought he'd just like maybe lash it first time and without any composure. But no, he takes a touch, puts it past the sliding defender, and just almost passes it into the roof of the net.
Yeah, it's a kind of like...
It was a really... He just kind of...
chips it, doesn't it? Yeah. The best way to describe it is he's kind of hit a diag into the roof of the net. Like, not like a diagonal shot. It's kind of perpendicular to where he is, but he's put that much like power and height on it that if he wasn't 3 yards out, it probably would have gone rosy. Yeah, definitely. But it's a great finish from him. That's 2 goals in 2 games now.
That was the only thing he did all game, though, unfortunately.
It was, but you know what? We won the game.
But individual performances, I didn't see anything else from the whole game.
No, I didn't either.
It was the goal, that was it. But you know what?
Fair play is what we need, isn't it?
Yeah.
Goals win games. Goals win games. Speaking of goals that win games, and goals that probably win awards, Lewis Wing's second goal on the night was spectacular, I'd say. I wouldn't say it's as good as the Crawley one, or the Barnsley away one.
I'd have to disagree. I think it's better than Crawley.
Better than Crawley?
Yeah, because it was coming towards him.
True, it's first touch.
It's a harder technique.
First touch as well.
It's a harder technique, and if you've seen, there's a fan got an angle.
Yeah, I know. It just
behind the goal, and you can see the
ball bends, doesn't it? It looks like it's going.
On it is mental.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great touch from Ben Elliott, who gets the ball on the outside of the box, and Cambridge made the same mistake twice of letting Lewis Wing have space anywhere on the pitch. And Ben Elliott just kind of lays it off to him like it's a training ground free kick. Lewis Wing is there, posed in position, and then just wraps his foot completely around the ball. The curl looks like it's going incredibly far right, more than a politician, and then it just nestles into that top hand side corner. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's really, really, really good from Lewis Wing. I think that the goals he produces for us is so important, and the quality he has in playing that 6 role is second to none in our team.
Yeah, when it's not even his main position.
No, it's not his main position. I mean, another thing to talk about, which gets off topic a little bit, won't be long. If Noah Hunt does come in, does he, instead of playing a defensive midfielder and 2 neutral midfilders, does he switch to an attacking midfielder and 2 neutrals as Lewis Wing?
Stick with what Ruben's got.
You think so? Oh, I agree. I would stick with what Ruben's got 100%. But do you think he will?
No. I think he'll do what he does with the academy, because if a manager tries changing his style of play, then he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, true.
Like, obviously he's watched Ruben, he's learned from Ruben. However, that isn't his philosophy, if you like.
No.
So he's got to stick to what he does, what he knows with the academy, because last year it did work with the academy. We got to the semi-final.
Certainly did.
Lost to Sunderland in the last kick of the game.
I was there. That was heartbreaking. That was.
Would have been nice to go to Spurs Stadium.
Would have been indeed. But look, that wrapped the game up for Cambridge. If I'm being honest, they didn't really have any chances after that.
And after that, it was dead.
After that, it was dead. You know, we saw a Cambridge fan, a video of them just having a right laugh in the away end. Which, you know what, fair play. When you're losing 3-0 and it looks like you're going down, I mean, at least you can't just sit there and sulk. You got to have a good time, and they did. In all fairness, to the about 200 or so Cambridge fans that were there, they had a great time, didn't they?
200. Was it that many? Didn't look that many.
Well, they sort of filled out an allocation of about a column of about 5 seats along, 6 or 7 seats along. So, you know, it's a decent turnout from Cambridge. I wouldn't really expect a lot.
We can't really say much, to be fair.
No, it wasn't a great turnout from us, but at the moment, I mean, can you really blame them?
I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't talk.
Yeah, but anyway, you know, and that kind of wraps up the game. I thought, you know, Joel Pereira made a decent save after, I'd say, 10 minutes after Lewis Wing's shot. It's a decent save down to his right. It's the only really looking on goal that Cambridge had. They had a few corners towards the end of the game. They didn't really do much with him.
They had one right after it was at 1-0.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Their right back.
Bennett? I think it's Bennett. I always see him on Football Manager.
I wanted to say Bennett.
Yeah.
He just wraps it round and Bindon can get near it. And
yeah.
I think the Cambridge striker almost got a touch on him. But
yes, he gets so close to it.
Just two in front of him.
Again, Cambridge United, I think, from their standpoint, defensively were poor. The midfield didn't win any battles. It just was so poor from Cambridge. They looked like a relegation team. There was no identity for them at all. It just seemed like they were just hoofing the ball up long. They had a few decent passages of play when getting past the final third, but again, not Lewis Wing, but Tyler Bindon and Amadou Mbengue just had to clean it up. You know, their partnership is so good, so good.
That's going to be disruptive.
That's going to, it's Christmas soon. Just keep it positive, okay?
Reading fans' Christmas present.
Exactly. Connor, have you got a man of the match for the game?
Ben Elliott.
Ben Elliott, 3 assists, a hat-trick of assists.
He was getting involved, not only for the 3 assists, I think just the whole game. I've never seen Ben Elliott want to get more involved in the game. He always wanted to score, always was making space.
Yeah. His
pass accuracy was incredible. He just controlled the game.
It was a complete
Normally
performance.
That's Lewis Wing's role. However, Ben Elliott just completely controlled the game. However, Lewis Wing obviously did score 2 goals. It was close, but I'd give it to Ben Elliott.
I would give it to Tyler Bindon. I think he was incredibly composed that game. I think early on in the game, Cambridge had a few good lookings on goal when it looked like it was a bit, a bit shaky maybe. But Tyler Bindon, I thought, was really composed. I can't rate him highly enough. I just think he's a brilliant centre back for this level, and whatever he does move on to do in January, if he does go, or whatever he does do in his future career, I think he's a top player. He is, Tyler Bindon, top player.
Just seen that we are understood to be receiving a 6-figure sum as compensation for Ruben Selles. It's something.
It's something, innit?
It's something.
A 6-figure sum.
6 figures.
We're receiving 100 grand and nothing more.
100 grand and nothing more.
Oh, God, I don't get it. I mean, at least we won't have to sell as many players in January. That's the only positive I can really see from that.
I still think... I don't think it'll make a difference.
Anyway.
It'll still be... I'm personally not... I'm bothered, but I'm not too bothered about Andre Garcia leaving for money.
Neither.
Because he's only 16. At this moment in time, obviously in the future it won't be, at this moment in time, Jerry L. Dorset is more important as a left-back to us than Garcia.
Yes.
Going forward, definitely not.
Yes.
However, just holding on to games, keeping clean sheets, Jerry L. Dorset is much, much better, stronger defensively.
The only thing I would be concerned about if we don't get a sell-on clause for Garcia in the contract, I would that's a big missed opportunity.
They'll just have to poach him from us. He's not on a professional deal. He's 16.
Oh wow!
It'll be a compensation package.
Okay, that's big. Okay,
it's not a fee. They'll just have to well, it is a fee, but the 2 clubs just have to agree a compensation fee, not a transfer sum.
Brilliant.
Because he's not on a pro deal.
Another great thing to
Whereas Tyler Binden's only got 6 months left on his contract, so that's going to bring that
price way
value down as well. So whoever was reporting 9 million to Arsenal, it's not going to
happen.
Be that much.
Yeah.
I'd value him at that much. Don't get me wrong. I'd value him at 45 million.
45 million.
Give or take.
To any clubs listening, he's worth actually 100 million, guys. You should definitely sign him. But that is where I think we should end it. There's not much to talk about really, other than what we said. Ruben Selles leaving is a massive blow to us. January is going to be horrendous. It's a month of despair, and we can only hope that protests continue. They ramp up. Noel Hunt gets the boys playing amazingly, and we don't fold and don't get relegated. Really,
onwards and downwards from here.
Yep. Final statement from me, Connor. Thank you for joining me today, mate. Do appreciate it.
Too. More to come.
And finally, up the ding. See you later. Bye bye.